Now that it's summer, I've been enjoying getting outdoors and doing my workouts outside. But the heat, it can be pretty dangerous. And Danny Freed spoke with Dr. Kohli about exercising in this Colorado heat.
Dr. Kohli, it's great to have you back here on the show. I don't know about you, but I have not been enjoying the summer heat. It's been way too hot for me.
It has absolutely been hot, Danny. I'm with you. I was craving the summer, but it wasn't going to be this hot. I didn't think so. So I'm ready for some cooler weather.
Yes, me too. Well, a big thing that I really like to do, summer, winter, is really exercise, especially getting outside. And now that we are in summer, I can do that. But what should we do and not do to be safe and healthy while we are exercising during that hot summer weather?
I'm so glad you asked, because I'm a cardiologist. So I'll never discourage you from exercising. But when we're having temperatures like this, it is critically important for us to keep some things in mind to keep ourselves safe while we're exercising. So my first piece of advice is do not exercise during the peak of the temperature. Go early in the morning or late in the evening when it's cooler, because when you exercise, your body generates a lot of heat. And if you can't give that off fast enough, especially because the ambient temperature is very hot, you can develop heat-related illnesses like heat exhaustion, heat cramps, or in the extreme cases like heat stroke. The second I would say is really plan what you're doing when you're exercising. So make sure you have enough water with you. Make sure you cover up from head to toe, because in addition to exercising, we want to make sure that we offer ourselves sun protection. And then finally, I would say try to modify your exercise depending on the weather. So if you're normally somebody that likes to run, you want to maybe bring down the intensity just a touch, because realize that exercising in hot weather is almost like giving your heart a second sort of a cardiovascular stress test.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yes. Great things to keep in mind. Now, I know that you did mention, heat exhaustion, dehydration, stuff like that. What are things that we can look for if we are outside in the heat and, maybe we are leading up to those things? Are there signs that we can look for to make sure that we don't get there?
There are absolutely signs. So I would say let's start from the outside and move inward. So outside, you want to think about your skin, and sun damage to your skin is an injury pattern actually that occurs in the skin. And essentially it starts with something like a heat rash, but can also be like a sunburn. So make sure you keep an eye on your skin. If it's getting red, if it's starting to get blisters, it's starting to peel, that's a sign that you're in the sun too long. Inside, we need to think about our heart, we need to think about our head, and we need to think about how our overall body is feeling. So hydration is really important, because when we get dehydrated, we start to feel fatigued and weak. We can feel our heart racing. When you start to develop some of those conditions I talked about, such as heat exhaustion, heat stroke, you can start having dizziness, you can start having nausea, you can have severe headaches. So any of those signs start to come up in your body, you need to stay tuned with those. That means you need to slow it down and get in somewhere cool.
Okay, so really taking note of those things if they do start to happen. Now, if this does happen, especially if we're out and about, or maybe we're with somebody and we notice some of these things, start to creep up, what do we do if we're having that bad reaction to the heat, or something starts to happen?
So important to look out for our friends as well as ourselves. So two important things to do. The first, cool them down. The second, seek medical attention. So you put them in the shade. You make sure you loosen up their clothing. If it's, if they're in a place where you can take off their clothing, that's even better. If you can get to cold compresses, you want to put cold compresses on them or some ice water on them to try to cool them down. If they're still talking to you, get them to drink some ice water to cool them down from the inside, and then seek medical attention. Have a very low threshold to call 911, because heat-related illness is responsible for deaths every year, and it's something preventable, and it's life-threatening.
Well, we all want to get outside. We all want to enjoy this beautiful Colorado weather, but it's great to have all of these tips in our back pockets. Dr. Kohli, thank you so much for joining us and for keeping us safe this summer.
My pleasure.
And you can stay hydrated and be prepared for the hot weather ahead. To learn more about staying healthy in the heat, you can head to 9healthfair.org. 9Health is now 9Health 365, giving you 365 days of complete care for your health.